Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about web hosting. So all of you would have got some basic ideas about web hosting. We'll learn a little bit in details about it. So first, what is a web hosting? A web hosting is just like renting up a space, like how we are renting up a real estate. It's more like a renting up a real estate space. So we are going to rent a virtual space where we are going to load our inventory. Maybe it could be your files, it could be your FTP, or it could be your emails, or it could be anything of that sort. So a web hosting is more like a real estate inventory where you're going to take up web space from hosting providers online, and you're going to store up your files and you're going to retrieve them whenever you need them. So it could be loading up your web files, or it could be loading your emails or anything. So this space will allow you to store files or data securely. So the physical servers are normally not configured by us. These are all taken care by the hosting company. They do all the maintenance as well as the security of this, and we just rent the space from them and we start using it. So how does it actually work? So this concept of web hosting works like a real life computer where you hire up space from someone, and when you try to use a certain amount of space from the provider, we are billed only for the space which we are using, or which we are occupying, or which we are renting from them. The dashboard, we are given up a dashboard for that. This dashboard will help you to evaluate the usage of your server, the resources of it, how much of CPU or the RAM you are using in your server, and you are billed according to that. So another factor which comes as a key in here is the bandwidth, which is nothing but the transfer rate or the internet speeds or the data transfer limit which you have been using from your hosting company. So that also plays a key role in here. So we hire as a whole service, as a package. So different vendors provide up different hosting packages. We hire as a single package and we try to use depending upon our requirements. So we may try upgrading our servers whenever we are in need of it. So say for example, you're starting as a new business, you can start something as really small. And as you slowly expand up your business, you can try incrementing your storage space or your bandwidth or your RAM usage depending upon your necessities. In fact, you can try upgrading from a simple hosting, a simple rented space, to renting up the entire server itself. So these kind of options are now provided by the hosting providers. So the concept of web hosting works much like this. You can see here in this video I'm showing. So we go to a provider who is basically a service provider of hosting. We hire or we rent the web space from them. Then we take a domain name as well from them. So we take a domain name. Say for example, I'm trying to start up my company as xyz.com. Then I take the xyz.com and I try to point my website with this hosting which I've taken from them. So the space which I've taken from them. So I try to point my domain name into it, where I've been given up a server. So this server will is nothing but the dashboard which I talked about earlier. So I try to use my dashboard to evaluate my server resources, like how much I'm using, and then I'll be able to take track of the data, how much has been used, as well as the traffic on the site, like the in and outs of the server, like how many people are walking into the site or how many of them are like walking out of the site, as well as my visitor records and everything. The logs are all stored on my server and I'll be able to evaluate them. Then I've been given up additional services where I take up services like emails, or I'm planning to set up an FTP server where I'm trying to transfer files from one person to another. I can set up an FTP server, or I can try to host some kind of a security server log. We call it as an SSL, where you are planning to form an e-commerce kind of a setup that I can set it up on my server. So each and everything are being like chargeable by your hosting providers. We can hire these from them, and we'll be able to create or we'll be able to use these services, and we are billed accordingly from the service providers as well. So this web hosting is of various types. As we discussed earlier, there are different types of this web hosting. So we need to choose the right type of platform which we need. So the first one which we have is a virtual private server, we call shortly as VPS. Then we've got a shared hosting. So that's normally everyone uses, like everyone who's starting as a beginner online, they normally start with the shared hosting. Then we've got WordPress hosting. As we saw in one of our videos, WordPress powers almost 66% of the websites online. So WordPress hosting is really famous these days. We'll see in detail like what exactly all these hostings are. Then we've got like cloud hosting. Then as I told earlier, we have the option to increase up our resources up depending on our usage. So this cloud computing or the cloud hosting will help us to increase our sources depending on our requirements. Then we've got a dedicated server. So if you are a pro user and if you plan to use up a lot of resources from your web server, then we go for a dedicated server, which is more like keeping your computer on 24/7 at a remote place and you try to use its resources. So that's your dedicated server. Then we've got a reseller hosting as well. Say for example, you are running a web designing firm and you've got a host of clients and you wanted to build up all their websites and you want to take care of their hosting as well, then we can do a reseller hosting. We'll see in detail. So let's first start with VPS hosting. So the VPS hosting is nothing but a type of hosting where we've given up a specific limited set of usage. Say for example, I can take about a 40 GB of storage where I can store my files, and then I can have a specific amount of RAM usage. Say for example, I say like I need a 4 GB of RAM or a 10 GB of RAM. So I can take up a required or a set of storage as well as my physical usage where I set my bandwidth as well. So the VPS is exclusively allotted to you, where you've been given an 40 GB of storage and a 12 GB of RAM as well as with the bandwidth. So these three remains dedicated only to you. The VPS server will be able to function with the exact requirements whatever you have purchased, and this has been wholly dedicated to you. Hence the name virtual private server. This is a private server exclusively to you, and that comes as it's one of the shared hosting platform, but it's exclusively dedicated to you where the resources are not shared with multiple people online. So the advantages, coming to the advantages of this, before we get on to the next one, the advantages of VPS. So the VPS will give you the control of having up your own server, and it's not like a dedicated server. This is like having up your own individual private cloud server where you're given up the admin privileges to do certain features or to certain maintenance on your site. So these features of root privileges, we call them in technical terms. So these root privileges are there in your VPS. Then the disadvantages would be is to maintain up these VPS. So a server, as I said, normally gets hacked from outer external sources. So these external parties, we need to take care of these. There are two types of VPS available. One is like managed by the hosting provider itself. Then unmanaged VPS is we need to take care of all the security concerns on it. So depending on the package we choose, if we are given up the privacy, then we need to evaluate the server security, and we need to make sure it is like tamper proof and it is like free from all hackings as well as with DDoS attacks and all the other things available. Then the second type of hosting which we have is shared hosting. The shared hosting is nothing but the kind of VPS hosting where you've been given the VPS option. Instead of having a VPS, we have it as the 40 GB of storage, as we discussed earlier, will be shared with multiple companies. Say for example, like X company would be using 10 gigs of storage, Y company would be using 20 gigs of storage, Z company would be using another 10 gigs of storage. So this has been stored or been used by different types of companies. So that's your shared hosting. Here we have the limitations of usage as well as the bandwidth as well as your RAM and everything. So a server would be set up where multiple companies' files would be stored, or their files or web files or database would be stored. And whenever there is a ping request from any of these domains, the shared server will be giving them their alternatives. So the usage will be like really dependent on the traffic of the site. Say for a point of time when all the three users are logging to the site will automatically turn down. You will start noticing up errors on the site. You could have normally experienced the site is turning up really slow, or you could see like 500 internal server errors or 404 errors. So these type of errors shows up when you are using up a shared hosting. So to escape from this or to like get rid of these errors, we normally go to the VPS hosting. So in this, as I said, we have the option of RAM as well as the processors. Everything is being shared with multiple users, and the limits are dependent upon the usage or the usage from the different companies or from the guys who are or from the team who are using of these servers. So this is an example of a shared hosting where a dedicated server is being used by multiple companies. You can see here there is someone who has deployed up an email service and someone who has deployed up a file transfer service. So all of these are being taken care by one single server where everyone is like storing up their files and using up accordingly. Then coming to the advantages of this got a biggest advantage. As I said earlier, all the beginners would normally go with a shared hosting because it's really easy to set up. There are hosting companies who provide it extremely low at $2 per month. So we have like really cheap monthly setup fees, and we've got softwares that are inbuilt available in them to build up your site or to post them online. So we've got free tools like WordPress and inbuilt editors which are available by every service provider, and we'll be able to publish a. So as said earlier, the advantages of shared hosting is it's really cheap to set up, and you can set up multiple sites. Say for example, you have different companies and you wanted to host all of their files into the same hosting. You'll be able to get a shared hosting and host all of your websites into the same. So that's like really economic and it's like cost effective. So shared hosting is like really essential for all the starters. Then coming to the disadvantages, I would say it is when the traffic is high in your server, when the traffic soars up, automatically your site tries to be like down and you'll be experiencing errors on the site. Then the third type of hosting we have is WordPress hosting. So this is provided by WordPress.com, the exclusive providers of the content management platform CMS. So they provide this kind of a hosting where they have tuned up their servers for better performance of WordPress. So WordPress as a framework is easy and it's really fast and efficient. But for WordPress to function very well, WordPress.com, they are providing their own hosting service where they have refined their servers for excessive usage of RAM or for excessive usage of processors, and they're providing up a hosting service. As the internet is powered by WordPress, they are trying to make it as a business out of this and making up as an exclusive hosting platform for WordPress CMS platforms. So many companies are available are using up this platform. The reason behind this, every plugin or every feature which is available in them are tried and tested. So any plugin which is there or to be installed on the server has to be tested or approved by them. Only then you'll be able to deploy them. If at all you plan to use any other plugins which are not approved or which are not proprietary to them, they will not allow you to install on them. So those kind of restrictions are there in it. However, they are really fast and they're really agile. They take care of your security measures. They're all taken care by them. We need not do anything from them, and the technical assistance is also provided by them. So WordPress hosting. Coming to the advantages of this is cheap as well. As I said, like it is really cost effective. Then all the plugins, themes, everything, whatever is like free is already pre-built. It's all installed by them. We need not do a lot of efforts or put in a lot of efforts into that. Then there is a very friendly customer support team where you get like emails less than like 6 minutes, where you get in 6 hours, where you get updates from them. Then disadvantages would be is to not to have like if you're planning to build up your site in an HTML format or in another CMS format, it's not possible because they allow you only to run WordPress exclusive files or WordPress CMS. Besides that, you will not be able to use their storage. The next hosting which is available is your cloud hosting. So the cloud hosting is the latest enhancement in the business of hosting, where we rent a cloud and we upgrade them depending on our usage. So the cloud is nothing but having up your services. For example, you are starting as a business initially with 2 processor setup and with about 4 gigs of RAM. And as you're slowly, your business is like popping up, you wanted to increase up your speed or you wanted to increase up the storage on your server. The cloud hosting provides you with that facility where you will be able to automatically try changing them, or you can automatically increase up your processors or increase up your RAM or your storage. So that is like an add-on feature which is provided by companies where they have a very big server or a big server farm setup where you've been allotted with a specific limit of storage. Then depending upon your usage, you'll be able to add up your additional items into them. Unlike the shared hosting where you are set up a fixed bandwidth limit, that is not the case here. You'll be given up, the traffic spikes are also allowed here, and you'll be given up a limit or a border being set up where you can extend or reach till that limits. So as in said, it's like a totally scalable platform. You can increase up your bandwidth, you can increase up your storage, your RAM, everything is like increased. It's totally scalable platform. And it doesn't require a high level of expertise. Everything is being taken care by them, and you'll be able to just deploy and directly use them as it is. So these cloud hostings are very ideal for setups like banks or government organizations, or for organizations which have like multiple setups or multiple companies across the globe. For companies like that, these are like really helpful, and they helps you to leverage your business or to increase them in greater heights where you do not have the complexity of migrating from a hosting company X to migrating to a hosting company Y, because everything has been taken care by them, and you will be like able to do your business well. So advantages would be is like adaptability, like you are like totally scalable and you are like reliable. Everything has been taken care by them. And we've got options of automatic data backup where you can increase up your backup storage size or you can reduce your backup storage size. Everything is being taken care by them. That's again a feature which is available in them. And being a cloud hosting, they take care of the complete security of your business, of your server. That's been entirely taken care by them. Disadvantages I would be saying as it's expensive. As I said, like we have got like reliable setup where you can automatically change up or increase up your server resources. They are quite expensive when compared to the other kinds of hosting. And we've got also the options of the security feature which I told earlier, like the root access. We need it for some kind of applications or for some specific features on your site. So those root access are not available in cloud hosting because they take care of the complete security of the site as well as in the maintenance and the patching of the site. So they normally don't give us the root facility. So that would be one of the disadvantages. With another kind of hosting which is very vital or the widely used by corporates or big companies is the dedicated hosting. Where it is like having up your own computer in the virtual space. It's in the internet where you hire up your entire computer all by yourself, where you can do everything on your own. It's like having your own computer instead of your home. It will be on an internet rack where it's connected to the internet 24/7, where security updates are being taken care by them or by you. So dedicated servers again are of two types, where it's a managed dedicated server where they take care of everything, or it's an unmanaged server where we take care of everything and we do all the security updates, patches, licensing, software installations, everything is taken care by them. We need to take care of the firewalls, we need to take care of the updation of the LAN cables or the routers or whatever is involved in a server or in a computer, everything is taken care by us. But this gives us a very good complex feature of maintaining the server by us. We do everything on our own. You are at your own will. You can do or you can install whatever you wish. You can do whatever you want in the computer. So this is very ideal for big companies and big domains where even for banking platforms where they are planning to have the security, or for normally security agencies or defense teams, they normally use this where they don't want data to be on a cloud. They wanted to take care of everything by themselves. So for those kind of people, this is very essential. The advantages I would be saying is that you've got the root access where you can install anything on your own. You have the complete admin privileges in this. Then you have the complete ownership to the server. You can do whatever you want in that. It's totally reliable and dependable. You'll be able to track your computer's performance, your security, the features, the speed, everything of it will be completely manageable by you. The disadvantages is the expensiveness of it. It's really expensive. It's not cost effective unlike the other hosting. For example, if your hosting is costing about $10 in a shared hosting, this would cost you at least $80. it's almost like 10 times the price of the other one. So that's going to be like really expensive, and it also requires technical expertise because you are going to be the master of this. You need to take care of everything in it. So it requires a lot of technical expertise, and we need to have a server administrator to manage and to maintain this completely. So the final type of hosting which we have is the reseller hosting. That's nothing but running up a hosting service as a business. Say, for example, you want to start up a business out of hosting. It's a very lucrative business. A lot of companies do this. In fact, I've been doing a reseller hosting as well, where I try to populate all my clients' website into one of the hosting servers. I try to hire a service from a company where I hire a reseller package or a service setup, and I try to give up space to multiple clients. I give them like 20 GB of storage with about 2 gigs of RAM with one database setup. This I sell it as a package to the client. Hence the name is reseller hosting. I hire a hosting and I try to resell it. Hence the name is reseller. And this is like very good or very useful for web designing and web development agencies. Then we can customize this package as well. We've given a dashboard. We can customize this depending on the client's requirement. We can make it as multiple platforms or multiple packages, and we can sell it to them. So these are the different types of hosting which we saw now. There are about almost 6 types of hostings available online. And you'll be able to choose them. So this hosting helps you to have a storage space online, or it helps you to set up your email service online, or it helps you to set up a file transfer service of FTP online, or you can have up your alias domains, or you can have up your POP3 services or IMAP services, different services which are there in the technical jargons of internet hosting. All of these are available in these type of hosting. So I think you guys would have got a better idea of how hosting works, or how these different types of hostings exist in this market today. So I'm leaving a link in the description below where you'll be able to choose up different packages from hosting providers. So if at all you happen to purchase, a small referral fee normally gets collected to me. I wish you guys would follow up those links and try to take up from one of those packages below. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you up in the next one. Thank you.